Please welcome to the stage, Robbie Picard.
Thank you, Sheila. I've done a lot of public. Can you guys hear me okay? I never hold the mic properly. I'm always like at a rally. This is a little bit less of a rally, so not that it's less of a rally, but this is a bit more comfortable. I'm not having to scream. So I've done a lot of public speeches over the past couple of years. I'm not going to lie. This is the most nervous I've ever been, and I'm not sure why. Ezra's like, Robbie, they love you. Don't worry about it. You just have to scream, and you're fine. But I think this one's a bit more personal for me. And I'm going to go in a few places, and I want everyone to pay attention. I'm going to give a bit of a history. But first of all, we got to liven up. So when I say pipelines, you say now. Pipelines. Pipelines. Thank you. So you all got a copy of this. I'm going to start off a little bit of what I've been doing the past few months. So we've been traveling all over this country advocating for pipelines. We've been trying so hard to get Canada to have their common sense and understand that when our biggest competitor, the United States, is now, our only customer, is now our biggest competitor and producing oil and selling oil, and we can't even get a pipeline to Tidewater, it's an embarrassment. This is Sephora Berman. I'm sure you know who she is. And this is I've never seen more lunacy in my life. I don't even know if that's a word. But her resume, all I altered was the cover. I just put Sephora Berman, enemy of the oil sands. With this resume inside of her entire career of trying to shut down the oil sands, why on earth would she be put in a position of any type of influence over our future at all? It's a joke. Back in 2014, I started volunteering with Canada Action, and I became the face of the I Love Oil Sands movement, particularly in Fort McMurray. We were struggling. We had no money. We were giving away stickers and buttons and trying to do different things and trying to get meetings with oil executives so they'd buy a table at one of our functions for $2,000. She was hobnobbing with world leaders, flying around, top oil executives, cutting out a deal that Alberta needs a carbon tax. Isn't it a sad state of affairs when you have someone from a foreign country and someone from a different province dictating your future behind the scenes in private meetings that we don't know about? So a lot of what I'm going to touch on today is about the danger of political correctness. Many years ago, Ezra Levent and I came to Fort McMurray, not many years, like he's not that old, but 4 years ago. He came to Fort McMurray and he talked about the campaign against the tar sands with the Rockefeller Foundation. Now, I instantly was enthralled by this. I'm like, what does this mean? And I phoned every reporter I knew. I phoned every oil executive I know. We need to do something about this. Last night, I was at Vivian Krause's event where she goes in great forensic audits of how insane the foreign funding to attack our industry is. And I thought to myself, because people were coming up, oh my God, Robbie, we have to do something about the campaign against the tar sands. Why the hell didn't we listen to Ezra Levent 4 years ago when he warned us about it? Why are we always being so reactive instead of proactive? And why are people have something against Ezra the Rebel that they've lost their common sense trying to be politically correct? I really wish people in the world would understand it doesn't matter who's saying something, it's what's being said. And that's a big lesson. So do we have, oh, there we go, my picture's up there. I have way better pictures now, Sheila, just so you know. I did some photography recently. I've lost about 7 pounds. I just don't eat. Can I put my video up? Thank you. Not me. Yeah. Okay, just pause. No, go back. Okay, go back 1 sec. Can you? Yes. Could start from. No, you're playing too fast. Yeah. Stop there. This was my last minute, they warned me that, Robbie, you got to get us your production ahead of time. I go, no problem, I'll have it 2 weeks in advance. This was me today. We played a video. So I want to talk a little bit about what happened to me in 2016. So that picture of me was when I hosted the I Love Oil Sands Gala. And there was a film crew following me around for 2 years. That's a whole horrible story that happened. But they were following me around for 2 years. So I just did an event, and at this event in Fort McMurray, and you think Fort McMurray would be the easiest place to get support for the oil sands. It's not. Our political people need to do more. Our counselors need to do more. Because, for far too long, they're too complacent. So anyway, I did this event. The event went really, really well. You go to the next slide. And then hit pause really fast. Okay. 2 days after that event, my house burned down in the wildfire. And I had to deal with a lot. And I mean a lot. I was dealing with, I literally had 2 minutes to leave. I had to make a decision because I didn't have gas in my truck. And I'm like, okay, I'll leave my dogs here because it was just chaos. I'll go get gas and come back for my dogs. And the dogs are all I really care about in my life. I don't care about my stuff or my house. I just care about my dogs. And I decided to take them with me. And that was a good decision because 10 minutes later, my house burnt down. So I was dealing with all of that, but somewhere deep down inside, I thought, okay, we have to get attention to Fort McMurray. We need to talk about the Red Cross. We need to draw media attention to what's happening. You can go to the next slide. So immediately, and I love Ron Ambrose. Her and I hung out, and I gave her a tour of all the surrounding areas and that. I drove her around for 2 days. You go to the next slide. I posed for a picture for Alberta Oil magazine, and I let them interview me. That's my 2 dogs. That's literally all I care about. So, and they made me wear these gay socks. I don't normally wear socks like that. But because I'm gay, they wanted to emphasize that, and I'm like, I don't wear these socks. Who on earth would wear rainbow socks and have 2 pit bulls, right? I don't have Papillons or Shih Tzus. I've got real dogs, okay? You go to the next slide. So I brought Mike Holmes to Fort McMurray, and I'm not good at this, so I'm gonna come over here too. So I brought Mike Holmes to Fort McMurray. Now this was really big for the people of Fort McMurray because it was I don't know if he did anything for the build or whatever, but people liked him. So I wanted to give as much as I could at that time, and I really had very little to give. I was done. I was emotionally done. I just wanted to go somewhere, deal with my insurance, and decide when I'm rebuilding, if I'm rebuilding, what I'm gonna do. So you go to the next one. Well, that's me on the cover of Alberta Oil. I'm not going to lie. It was a good moment. Those socks, once again, I'm not wearing socks. I'm not Justin Trudeau. I don't do socks politics. So you can go to the next slide. Now, I want you to be very kind to me here because I'm nervous putting this image up, but I think it's very important to articulate why I love the Rebel and why I love Sheila and why I love Ezra. So in the midst of all of my chaos, my house burning down, I made a meme, and basically the whole point of this meme was to address one simple fact. If you're gay or lesbian in Saudi Arabia, there's no political correctness. They kill you. They cut off your head. They hang you. They throw you off a building. This went viral. It made the New York Times, Breitbart. It was insane. You can turn it off to go to the next slide. This is what happens if you're gay in those countries. They kill you. They cut off your head. They kill you. The part that and we'll go off that, I don't want to leave that on there, just go to the next one, and then I'm good. Oh, the next one after that. Okay, pause on that. Let's leave it with Jane Fonda. That's my highest moment ever. I love that fight with Jane Fonda that I had. No, I kicked her out of Fort McMurray. You should be giving me a cheers. Thank you. So this is where I really want to talk about being loyal and not being bullied by people that are trying to tell you to be politically correct. I'm gay, I'm Métis from Fort McMurray, I'm not misogynistic. Everybody on earth was saying horrible things about me with that meme. That meme got attention. It was more than any oil company ever got. It drew tons and tons of attention. But instantaneously, the people, I'm not gonna get into too many names, but the people that I turned into something, that I supported for very little, my own personal money and time, abandoned me. They left me to deal with that scandal on my own. And I was living in this crappy trailer. My buddy Danny, because my house burned down, he's my buddy Danny. He's like, Robbie, man, I'm in foreclosure. I know you got to rent a place. Can you rent my trailer? So I get there with that film crew that was following me around. It was a grow-op, and I did not know that. It was so filled with garbage. So I get there. I'm living in this horrible trailer. I'm like, why the hell did I not just get a hotel? I'm too nice. Anyway, so I'm just going through a tough time. And here I am, and people that were my dear friends, like the people who were banning me from Facebook, the big media didn't bother me at all. In fact, I would argue that even Press Progress, I thought their story was fairly balanced. At the end of the day, people were saying, in Saudi Arabia, if you're gay or lesbian, they kill you. Why are we getting oil from a country that butchers people? Why? But I was in a dark space because, I wasn't quite used to that type of scandal. And then I see this message, the Rebel is talking about this, right? And I shit my pants. I'm like, oh no, I pissed off the Rebel. And I'm not kidding. I was pacing around that crappy trailer, the grow-op that I was living in. And I was panicking, right? So I grabbed my blanket, and I was hiding under my blanket with my 2 dogs, right? And I phoned my dad, which I never call my dad ever. I'm like, Dad, you got to come to Fort McMurray. He's like, yeah, you pissed off the whole world. Way to go. So I watched the video, and it was Sheila. And Sheila had my back. She defended me. Let's hear it for Sheila. I will never forget that because arguably I'm one of the most successful oil sands activists there's ever been. My reach is through the roof. Sometimes I hit 5 million on my social media, and people listen of all political parties. And I know, please don't, well, you can boo. I'm going to say Rachel Notley, get it out of your system. Boo. I got her to wear the I Love Oil Sands hoodie. I did everything in my power to work with whatever politicians I could to make a difference. And because of one blunder or whatever, my friends, my good friends, they blocked me from Facebook, deleted me, and all that kind of thing. So it's very important, no matter what stages in politics you are, you remember your friends. I will never say no to speaking at the Rebel. I don't care how many people want to tell me I shouldn't or whatever, because I will remember they have my back. Now, Ezra touched on something earlier, and I don't think that he emphasized how important this is, okay? It's really easy when you're on top. It's really easy when you're on top of the news, which I am right now. I have a TV show called Visit Fort McMurray if you haven't heard about it yet. But I'm on top right now. It's really easy. But when you're not on top, and when you do the type of work we do, it's a risk. When you make a meme, you don't know if it's going to go. You don't know if it's going to be perfect or if people are going to like it or whatever. And if it goes south on you, you really need friends. So when he talked about Tommy from England, that would really, and I think more people should research what Ezra did here. This guy simply was expressing his right for freedom of speech. All he did was repeat something that a mainstream news media put out already. They put him in jail filled with people who wanted to kill him. To kill him. This isn't a joke. Political correctness and all this emotional stuff's not real. As much as the world was upset about my lesbian scandal, no one got hurt. One person claimed that, she had to, this was really funny. She came out to me and told me that I ruined her life. And I'm like, seriously, you got to get a better life, girl. I mean, but no one got hurt. But let's hypothetically say I get stupid and I'm going to take my activism to Saudi Arabia, okay? Well, maybe not. We'll do that a little bit less than that. But say somewhere else and I go to jail. Who would help my back? Ezra and Sheila would. You better believe it, because it's been tested. It's been tested time and time again when they take risks. I am so scared of what freedom of speech is now because I think we're losing it. We're losing it and when we're not politically correct. Like when I took on Jane Fonda in the parking lot, I have an advantage, and it's not fair, but I'm gay and Métis. So and I've gone people. When we were at the David Suzuki thing, this girl was drumming, and I said it. I'm gay and Métis, so that balances out here on the ethnic front. No, that's not right. But it's not right. It shouldn't matter who's saying what. It should be what is being said. And I think it's so important that even if you're not the best, you're not the most articulate, but deep down in you're right in your core, don't be bullied by people that are calling you names like homophobic, xenophobic, and all these things when you're really not. You might not like a particular thing. We have lost the ability to communicate. We've lost the ability to have different conversations and say things. And that's why I love the Rebel, because the Rebel takes risks all the time, and they take on issues. And just like when he said the campaign against the tar sands 4 years ago, I'm very worried about our future with the oil sands right now. I'm terrified. I don't think we're going to get a pipeline approved. And watching Vivian Krause last night, it scared me a lot. Because everything they set to do, stop, they have a blueprint. So while we're sitting here discussing the blueprint from 4 years ago, they're writing their next blueprint. And if we don't step up and get ahead of them, I'm worried. I'm really worried about our democracy right now. I'm scared. And I've been doing this oil sands stuff for a long time, and I'm very nonpartisan, and I'm about to change that. Because you can't, what's that word I'm looking for? Social license doesn't exist. It doesn't. Our oil has the highest environmental standards in the world. We have equality. We have freedom of speech. We do amazing things in the oil sands. We don't need to apologize for it. We don't need social license for it. We simply need to get our oil to market. So I'm very proud of everything we've done, as much as I can. Like I truly believe I've won every battle I've been in, but I'm not sure if we're going to win the war. Now, when Jane Fonda came to Fort McMurray, it was a really funny story because I was about to meet with my lawyer, and I forgot about the meeting. And Suzanne phoned. She's like, "Robbie, where are you?" And I'm like, "Oh my God, Jane Fonda's in town." She's like, "You're supposed to meet me here for lunch at 12 o'clock." I'm like, "Well, I'm trying to find Jane Fonda." And she's like, "Seriously?" She's like, "Well, Jane Fonda's here at Moxie's right now. Get over here, right?" So I immediately got there, and that's my friend Susan. And I'm like, I needed some backup. So I phoned Susan. Now, Susan's crazy, like totally, like she's the biggest conspiracy of them all. So I know she'd eat this up right away. I'm like, "Jane Fonda's at Moxie's." She's like, "Where?" "Moxie's." "I'm on my way." And somehow the CBC got tipped off that Jane Fonda was in town. I have no idea how that happened. And unbeknownst to Jane Fonda, a media squirm happened outside of Moxie's. And of course, I'm never prepared. I have my cell phone, which is on my last bar, which I dropped on the floor, which my dog carried as a chew toy. And I'm like, oh, I have nothing. But I managed quickly to do it. And it was freezing. It was minus 35 outside. And I didn't put a video of this, but... And anyway, I confronted her, and I asked her two simple questions. I said, "Are you aware that the Fort McKay First Nation invested $250 million in the Suncor tank farm? And are you aware there's 289 Aboriginal businesses with the Northern Eastern Aboriginal Business Association that support oil sands?" And she, after talking, just walked away. That's what we're up against. Multi-millionaire, billionaire ex-wives, and she had sex on a plane, and that takes fossil fuels. I'm just saying. They're determining our future. Now, there hasn't been a celebrity visit to Fort McMurray since, because they know I will find them. And I will call them out. And recently, and I like Jan Arden. I have no issue with Jan Arden. But in 2016, she made a tweet comparing wild horses, which I have nothing against her cause, but basically said tar sands are dirty. And I called her out. That was a #1 news story in Canada for like 2 days. And she apologized. There needs to be some consequences when you knock Alberta, especially when you're getting a paycheck. So I'm going to close pretty quick here because they said try to pick up some time, and I'm like, well, I'm pretty funny, so I'll do what I can do for you here. But I just wanted to say two things. Freedom of speech is important, and dialogue is important. And if we're so scared to have a conversation now out of fear of being called something or people turning you, it's very dangerous. And whatever we do, and I don't have the answer, I'm trying to come up with a strategy. We were talking about 4 years ago with their campaign against the oil sands. They're done. They won. They did that. They did everything they said they're going to do. There's no point in talking about that. What are we going to do now to protect Alberta? 1 second. I want to play the last video. This is a plug. Okay, first of all, I always say this, but I don't have enough Twitter followers, so follow me on Twitter at Robbie Picard. And also, go to Robbie Picard Media, like my page, and Oil Sands Strong. And can you play the last thing for me real quick? And just play the whole thing out.
I'm Robbie Picard, and this is
my new
Visit
TV
Fort
show.
McMurray. Today, we are on the beautiful Clearwater River.
What I wanted to do was show the world Fort McMurray is not Mordor or a
Let's
toxic
go.
wasteland.
Every
Look how beautiful
part
it
of
is.
our region has natural oil sands bitumen seeping from the bank. It's our lifeblood for generations now and to come. This river is massive. It's wide. It's clean. It's pristine. And because I'm a resident of Fort McMurray, I can enjoy it anytime I want. There's so many cool things to do and so many things that are at our fingertips. You just have to go and take it. We're at the start of the Cascades. There's rock flowing into the Athabasca. You can camp here. Over there's a bunch of boats. I want one of those boats that has a tent and you can actually camp in your boat overnight.
That was a bit gay.
If you want to enjoy nature and go swimming and just chill with your family, friends, whatever, this is the spot. This is the Cascade Rapids. We're on the lower level of the Athabasca River here, and it's higher there. So it's sort of like a mini waterfall. Earlier in the year, you can boat across it to keep going all the way to Jasper. Otherwise, you got to plan your route a little differently. But I mean, let's have a look at this. This is just awesome. This is one of those moments in life where you're kind of left speechless. You're taken back by the moment and the scene and the sheer beauty of this. This is majestic. You don't want to come here with an inexperienced operator. You need to have an understanding because you don't want to get into danger. But please come visit Fort McMurray. Find a way to look at this. So we've stopped on the river. We've come into people here that are having a fire and just enjoying the weather. Once again, it shows you Fort McMurray has something for everyone. About 30 minutes south of Fort McMurray on the Athabasca River. But once you're here, wow, what an experience this is. All these boats behind me here, they have to anchor to the rock. If you take this trip, plan appropriately. The water here is crystal clean. Water in the river always has sediment, doesn't matter what river it is. But if you look closely, you can just see how clean the water is. It comes from Jasper on the way up to Fort McMurray. I am blown away at how I could have lived in Fort McMurray for so many years and did not know this was here till today. Thank you for watching Visit Fort McMurray. We did an awesome tour. We went up the Athabasca River south of Fort McMurray. We came to this beautiful campground. Now we're headed back because these guys need a pizza delivery. So our tour guide is going to go get some pizza and come back and bring these guys pizza. Please stay tuned to the next episode. We are going to cover every bit of this river going all the way up to Fort Chipewyan. Thank you for watching.
Thank you. Did that look like a toxic wasteland? Did it look like Mordor? In my own little way, I'm trying to bring Fort McMurray to the world. I'm trying to show everybody how beautiful Fort McMurray is. And our industry has contributed so much to this nation, to this city, and I'm done apologizing for it. When I say pipelines, you say pipelines, pipelines. Thank you.